Nailed it. I remember to record it.
There you go.
Um, so that's it. That's it. Mission accomplished. We can wrap it. Okay. So this, I just have my laptop, so I'm going to try to see all the things I need to see while we're doing this. So we'll start our meeting 7:03. Other people can pop in as they do. I think everyone is just able to enter. I don't think I have to like approve them entering. So, okay. So starting at 7:03, Lauren will be able to see who's in attendance. Did people get to review the minutes that Lauren put out? Does anyone have anything they want to voice that they want a change on?
I didn't see anything that I thought needed changing.
Okay. All right. Well, let's leave that there for now. If other people join in, we can ask for their input before we prove it. We don't have a quorum though, do we? Are there
Um,
any, how many people do we need to have? Do you remember?
5.
One, two, three, four, five. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, any additions to the agenda? Is there anything anyone wants to add to the agenda that Anne sent out? Nope. Do we
Oh,
have,
I
this might
do.
be it. Okay,
I do.
go.
It's March 31st. I need to talk about butterflies briefly.
You're on mute screen.
Absolutely. Okay,
Oh,
add it to the agenda.
yeah. I guess just me who couldn't hear.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I couldn't hear Spring.
Can you hear me now?
There. Now I can, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. All right, so we can move on to reports. Does anyone have a report? Steve or Spring, do either of you have updates for us?
No, no, I wasn't at the previous EMC meeting. I was out of town, so I
Looks
didn't
like
go to.
Nancy's raising her hand.
Oh, what do you want to say, Nancy? Something about the planning, zoning? I think you're still muted, Nancy. We're not able to hear you.
Nancy, do you want me to give an update on the planning? Because I was there with you. Thumbs up or thumbs down because we can't hear you.
Can I unmute Nancy? Mute,
No, you just muted her. I don't think
unmute.
she logged in with her sound.
You might want to try to just leave the meeting, Nancy, and then try to come back in if we can't hear you. How about,
We'll lose her
well,
core.
Nancy's working on that. Spring, do you want to give us an update on town board or any other topics?
Sure. So, one thing is later this month there's going to be we're going to be having a session on the fire departments, and we're going to have guest speakers coming in to talk about the pros and cons of a fire district. So I'm just wanting to make sure I'm sharing that broadly because we're hoping for engagement on that topic. There are a lot of pros, um, but it does mean changing something, just it's change. So um,
What does it
want to
mean? I'm not
encourage people.
familiar with fire
So if
districts.
a
What is it?
fire district would create a board of true fire fire rather than the town board overseeing the fire district um, and that activity, they'd have their own board that's dedicated to what they do. They would have a they would be able to then have like shared resources for administrative support. Um, the idea is that it eliminates a lot of the administrative burden off of the fire chiefs that they currently have to do with a lot of reporting and things like that.
Okay.
Um, so there, but it would mean it's different. So there are some other communities that have gone through the change um, that are being invited to come in and share their experience of other fire chiefs of what it was. What was it they were worried about? What went well? You know, what are the cons? Of that, so that we can have a public conversation about that. Um, and so we want to do the right thing, right? That's the
Mhm.
main goal. Um, so that's coming up. That's a big thing this month. Um, I've also been attending the zoning and ZAG meetings. In I've been filling in for Dan because he's teaching during those hours this semester. So that's where I think Nancy wanted to talk. So the emails are going around. The gentleman who's working on buying the property updated their proposal of how they would subdivide the property based on I guess he attended the last ag meeting, and he has been attending the zoning meetings to understand what the concerns are. And he resubmitted his proposal based on what the laws would are looking like they will be in creating a conservation district. Um, I think there's a few things that are still going to make people have discussion. Um, but I think it's very different than what was originally proposed. And so I'm hoping there will be more positive discussion around that. It does a lot to donate land for environmental conservation, and then also dedicates 60 acres to be maintained farmland. Um, so those are things, and that's what got emailed around to everybody before. But I just wanted to share that the approach came off to me as in good faith. So I'm hoping we can continue having conversations and get to a place that everybody feels good about.
I,
So those are the two big
I will
updates.
just, excuse me, but I will just say he did not attend the last ag meeting. I was there and nobody came to talk about it.
Oh, he said he listened in on Zoom to hear what the concerns were, so that not to present, but to understand what the worries were so he could respond. That's what I heard him say, is my understanding.
They don't Zoom those meetings, I don't think.
I,
I don't
I
remember anybody being there, being on, up on the wall there.
okay. I'm just telling you what I heard him say at the meeting. I mean, you were there that night when he came, so
Yeah,
So there's a new sketch. That was the thing that got emailed out, right?
yeah,
Before our
yeah.
meeting. Okay. I didn't really get a
yeah.
chance
There's a
to.
new sketch. I found it. I really wanted to like get a highlighter out and color it in. And
Mhm.
I was hoping we'd have this meeting in person because I think it would have been easier with big maps and having colored in like exactly where they were saying they'd be allowed to build and then where they wouldn't be allowed to build, and what would be going into that code. I thought that'd be easier to read than the current sketches, but I think there's still
So
quite a bit more to talk about.
yeah, so the discussion we had was we are going to have this meeting and then hold that topic for just like a separate meeting that we would have where we could get together in person since we weren't able to do that tonight. So we're gonna probably be able to do that spring.
Yeah,
Have those
I
maps
think
ahead
that'll
of
be
time for us to
helpful.
all look at this new version and like come up with
Yeah.
whatever our concerns are and work through it. So I think Anne had thrown out some dates, like just like in a week or two, so that we can meet before the next
Yeah.
planning meeting, I think. Okay, perfect. Nancy, is your audio working for you now? I
Guess
don't know.
not.
Yeah, we still can't hear you, unfortunately. Sorry. Okay. So let me get back to our agenda. So Crystal was supposed to be joining us, but I don't see her joining us. Where is the sound? So you should have a little, if you hover over, are you on a laptop? Oh, I can't really answer me. a laptop or a phone, you should be able to just hover. I mean, it looks like you're unmuted, so I'm not sure why we cannot hear you.
Unless her mic has been disabled.
Nancy, down in the corner where it shows the little microphone on the lower left corner, it says audio and there's like a little microphone. There's a little caret. If you click that,
Oh,
you might need to change where your microphone, which microphone it is that you need, because your speakers are working. So don't change your
Can you hear me
speakers.
now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it went thank you. It went to some sort of line in, I don't know what the hell. You know me. I don't know this stuff. Okay. So spring, the dates she put out was 9 and 13 are the two that we're currently discussing for having this. And I wanted to mention to board members that at a previous date, time, year, and actually different members slightly, we did vote to say that we would hold extra meetings as necessary to deal with any seekers. So just to remind people of that.
Yeah. I will let you guys know the 9th is the town board meeting, and the 13th is something. So I'm just putting that out there, not to put a damper on it, but just it may be hard for one of us to be there.
Right. Huh. So the thing was, we need to get it in before the next planning.
I know.
In
I'm
time
just
for our stuff to go to Tony at least 3 days before the planning board meeting.
Oh yeah. I'm just letting you know the 9th. The 9th is a town board meeting, so that'll make it.
Okay.
Unless I don't think everyone wants to meet at like 5 o'clock or something. That would be crazy.
we can explore other times, I guess. Send that out.
By the way, Tim Woods, I saw an email from him saying, "Where is everybody?" He's at the town hall.
Oh,
Jeez.
he just popped in our meeting. Yeah, we're doing all virtual meeting this time
Yeah, that's
because
what I
Lauren wasn't able to join, so we weren't gonna get in the room, but then I spoke with Alice and she said they're doing a rail trail meeting in that building or something. So maybe that's why it was open.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
really, really bad weather out there. I will tell you, it was very hard. Coming home was pretty sketchy. So
Yeah, it's
Probably
good
good
to try and meet.
we're not
things are
traveling.
flooding. And there were tornado warnings out, and yeah.
yeah, roads are getting closed. I know they tell you don't drive through standing water, and all of a sudden I find myself like going through standing. I couldn't see what was going
Yeah.
on. So it may be better. We're all safe and tucked in.
Okay. So Crystal was supposed to join us and do a presentation with us, but she has not joined the meeting, so I'm not sure.
If she had to go down to CCE, it's quite possible she couldn't get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if she's a power outage.
Fall Creek is probably flooded.
So we
Yeah,
can just
College Town was closed because the roads are so bad.
so we have the and we don't have our high school reps didn't join us either. Just looking down at
Tie-off Niagara River is out of its banks already.
Geez.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rain north of us all day, so we didn't get all of it, but like Syracuse and all up there was angry red rain on the radar all day. Okay, so I guess we'll skip Crystal's presentation unless she joins in. If not, we will schedule her to do that another time. I know there was a letter of support that she was looking for, and I hope that we don't miss a deadline for her, but I do not see her trying to join, so we'll just have to skip that. So the next item, Tim had asked us, are we all done with reports before we move on? With committee reports? Okay. Okay, so Tim had asked to have have a little minute to talk about the rail trail. I did reach out to Alice to get a update from her. She said that they have gotten full approval from the DEC and Army Corps of Engineers to replace a footbridge with a wetland protection plan. They have funding for the bridge from donors from Cornell, Triad Foundation, Finger Lakes Runners Club, and several culverts in that section have already been replaced, and the bridge should be built or should be completed in early fall. And the Route 13 pedestrian bridge is underway and construction is ahead of schedule. And the bridge should be done and be in place by December, and they'll have an opening celebration in spring of 2027.
Oh, I have one thing that I'm not sure we mentioned, and that's that we're changing the zoning, the subdivision zoning law, and
Okay.
that was forwarded. I thought that was forwarded to the board, to our board, but the key changes are that if they're building on ag lands of soils of importance, they're not allowed to put structures on more than 50% of the buildable land, is what we propose as the change in the law. And additionally, in the section of the subdivision law where they would routinely be asking for ecological type review of what's on the land, and they list off who could give that, and they put in the typical engineer and whatever, and I had them put in the Town of Dryden Conservation Board, that we could be an authorizing body for what's important on that land, and that, you know, and so that we would be notified and could be that. I expect if we offer that more people would have us do it, because we wouldn't be charging, and the other people would. So just to let you know,
Excuse me, I'm wondering what happened to the discussion on the rail trail.
We just jumped back, so Nancy was giving her update on the zoning, so we'll get back to that, Tim.
yeah, because I have a short memory. If I didn't say it then, I was gonna forget. Thank you. Okay, bye.
So that's
Is
so
that
you're. Go ahead, Jen.
is that so offering us up to provide written reports that are equivalent to engineers or consultants is probably a big task. I mean, I don't think we have the capacity on this board to do that. We can certainly provide opinions, but I'm not sure we're going to be writing reports.
I think we'll have to look at what the language is, but I think we're listed as a resource that people could reach out to, as is an advisory board to provide input or gather our opinions on. I don't think it was the same as an engineer report kind of thing.
We'll have to look at the language, right? And
Yeah.
I thought that the language was sent, but I guess not. So it'll be sent to everybody, and we can discuss it.
Yeah, we still have to do the I think at the next meeting, Nancy, I think we still have to go over.
We're going to go over
there were two appendices that had to do with like building measurements and some more definition stuff. I don't have my notes in front of me, but there were some things we still have to go through in some of the tables before it's ready to go out to everybody for review. Otherwise, it'll be confusing, I think. Yeah. That references the tables, and then if the tables aren't there.
So it's mostly to let you guys know that it is a major change to the subdivision law that was suggested, and Evan Carpenter was there, as well as Doug Anzac, when we discussed it, and both thought it was appropriate and okay. And so it's more to be discussed more. And
the other thing, wasn't it true, Nancy, we put in there that that if it's a subdivision in agricultural lands and it's a subdivision of more than 4 or 5 houses, it has to be a conservation subdivision. It's no longer optional.
Yes, we did put that in, and it has to be considered. Yes. So there's more to discuss about this.
Just to
And
be clear,
more-
these are recommendations to the ZAG. These aren't
it's
things that
a
are necessarily
suggested
going to go in.
change, a suggested change to the zoning law, which has to get reviewed by all the boards. So they want us to review it and the ag to review it and everyone to review it. That those changes get back to them, and then they'll decide. Presumably that they'll take that into consideration. They'll decide, and then it will be submitted to the town board for the change in the zoning board. But any land, any division land that's more than 4 structures being put on it is automatically a subdivision, a major subdivision, and this would apply. Subdivision law would apply to.
Yeah, and our goal is to, and it has to go through a public review, but the goal is not to wait until everything else with the zoning is done and put it through as a package, but to go ahead and do this similar to how we did with
Data centers, basically.
data centers. Yeah, thank you.
Because this
And these aren't red line documents. This is brand new documentation too. This isn't just an edit. So, there's legal review and.
Yeah, but this was in lieu of asking for the moratorium on the subdivisions. We're trying to change the subdivision law in Toot Sweet, and the people developing high school are being way beyond nice in responding to this. They changed their whole suggested thing based on what we had suggested even before it was accepted and made into law. Back to whoever was the other topic.
Okay. All right. So that's the end of our zoning update, and we'll have our whole separate meeting about that development so we can consume those new sketches and have a longer discussion about that. All right. So back to rail trail. So I gave the little update. Tim, did you want to start in on what you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that everybody on the conservation board was up to speed on what the current status of the rail trail was, the construction on the rail trail, and the obstruction to finishing the rail trail. So for about the last 3 or 4 years, on a monthly basis, I drive around to all of the intersecting roads of the rail bed and check out what's happening. Been in contact with several landowners who have not given permission for the rail trail to go through. And I talked to them this past week, let them know that the section of the rail bed that butts up against 366 coming across from Pinckney Road had several spots of construction going on, especially right next to 366. If you guys haven't been by there in the last 10 days, they ripped out a huge 4 or 5 foot diameter concrete culvert and replaced it with a large black PVC one. So that is all done. Took them several days to get that completed. Then they were offloading some more corrugated PVC culvert sections. So I stopped and was talking to the construction crew, and they said they had yet another creek bed that they had to replace old concrete culverts with. So they were in the process of doing that. As you turn off of 13 and go on to 366 towards Etna, there's a big field there off to your left, and those culverts were going to go in along the rail bed where it parallels the edge of that field. All the way in the back corner, there's another creek bed there, and that's where those 2 culverts were going. There's yet another creek further west, as was stated in the report from Alice, where they have to put in a bridge instead of culverts. And like you said, they've gone through the permitting process for all of that. So I asked the construction crews before I talked to Rick Young later how all of this was being funded, because all the construction was being done by town road crews. And he says, well, the way that works is we keep track of all of our hours and our expenditures, and we tally that up and we send it to the rail trail committee, and then they apply our expenses and costs to the money they get from their various sources. So the Rail Trail Committee handles all of the payments to the Dryden Town construction, road construction crews. So further,
Sounds like what they were saying is they were using that as like grant funding match time is what it sounds like, Tim. It doesn't sound like that's a transfer of money. I could be wrong, but that's very typical
well,
in
the way he
municipal
explained it is
projects like that.
Alice and the board has the money in hand, and when the Dryden Road Department sends them a bill, then they pay that bill out of that money they already have. So that's what they told me. When you get all the way back over to Pinckney Road, two things are happening there. The section that goes from Hallwood Road over to Pinckney, about 18 months ago, they had excavated all of that, cut into the hillside where the large buildings were in the industrial park there, put in huge blocks of limestone to hold the hill in check, and then built an elevated road bed across there where they had to put some of that fill into the adjacent wetland. So I asked them how they got permission to do that, and they said they went through all the permitting processes with Army Corps on, and got permission to do that. So that was regraded with more gravel all the way to Pinckney Road. Nice roadway, actually. Walked the whole section last week. So the section from Hallwood over to Pinckney's been complete for about a year and a half. When you cross over Pinckney Road to the east side, there's still a huge impediment there that I was talking to the construction crew about, and that's about a 6-by-6-foot concrete structure that was put in to put the rail bed over it and allow the fairly good-sized stream to flow underneath. Unfortunately, that was put in well over 100 years ago, and it's currently crumbling, and there's huge chunks of concrete in the creek downstream of that structure. So I asked them if they knew about that, and they said, yeah, we're aware of it. And I said, what are you going to do to fix that? And they said, at this point in time, we don't have a plan for that. Okay, so that's the construction all the way over to 366 from 13. And of course, you all know that the bridge is now under construction, and you've got the update on that.
So
what
Tim,
you may not be aware is that, what was that?
Can I ask, you were saying that the trail is now going after the two fields, like when you make that turn from Route 13 onto 366, and there are the two fields there, and you said that the trail currently is, they're putting in culverts so the trail can be at the far end of the farthest field. Is that correct? Oh, good. Okay, because that means they're not trying to go through that area between the two fields. That's good.
That is correct. They are trying to finish the section between Pinckney Road and 366.
And not impinge on the farmer.
Is part of it, and building the footbridge is part of it. And it does not infringe on the farmer because the rail bed parallels the edge of those fields. It goes through the woods on the edge of those fields. So
okay, on the far edge, because I thought it went in between the two fields. But I thought that was one of the places where they were changing the trail actually so that it would go around this. Anyway, whatever it is they're doing, it's good because they're not trying to go in the area between the two fields. They're going on the far end. That's good.
Correct, as far as I know from what they told me. Okay.
Cool.
So the other big issue is going to be the landowners that own the rail bed from 366 through Etna over to to Etna Lane, and then from Etna
Yeah.
Lane over to Kirk Road. From Kirk
Tim,
Road
I'm gonna stop you for a second real quick because my understanding and that I think we get a lot more information honestly if we talk to the rail trail team. I'm not sure that all of Rick's guys who are out there working have all the details. Right now they're working on getting a grant to do a study to understand what the options are to not go through the land where the owners do not want the rail trail. So we know that there still needs to be a plan for that. I think there's been effort and progress on that I can't speak to because I don't know all of it, but they understand that my understanding is they're looking for an alternate way, and we've been working with people to figure out how to
Okay.
connect the
all,
trails.
all of that may be true. However, I just wanted to make sure that this board understands that the rail bed that goes from the end of the Freeville sewage line that goes down the rail bed from Johnson Road about 800 yards, from that point all the way to 366 is private property, which is over 2.25 miles, and it's all contested by the property owners. And I wanted to make sure that this board understands that the issues surrounding the construction are pretty well in hand because they've got the funding and they've got the road crews that can do the construction. But a big impediment is still that those landowners, especially Cindy Marquis, who owns over 1.5 miles of that rail bed, is very adamant that she does not want the rail trail to come through the property. And she is now looking into what she considers the illegal filling in of 2 of the stream beds by Rick Young and his road crews without her permission on her property. And she's talking with different government agencies to see if she can have those fills removed and allow the streams to free flow again. The problem is that when Rick put those culverts in, the beavers immediately filled them up, and the streams are now backing up onto both her property and on Ron Szymanski's property. And I've got pictures of the rather sizable lakes that are in there now, and that's why she's so upset, because she can't use that section of her property to hay anymore because it's flooded. So that's the update. I just want to make sure that all of you understand that there's a lot more going on than what the rail committee has been telling us.
I think it's ironic that she's complaining about fill when the entire north side of that trail between that trail and Fall Creek is all fill in a floodplain that should never have been allowed. But anyway, I'll leave it at.
Yep. So, any more questions? I will continue to talk with the landowners and the construction crews and walk the trail and make sure we have the latest and greatest information. And I've got pictures if you want to look at them.
Keep us apprised of the beautiful birds you see.
Okay, I think I can do that.
Okay, so then we have old business. So we're gonna postpone our Trillium Woods discussion for a separate meeting. We talked about the 9th and 13th, and perhaps those might conflict with other town meetings, and we may not have the availability of Spring and Lauren, so maybe we will look at other dates. We were gonna maybe have some high school reps were interested in joining from Dryden High School. Do not see that they've joined us today, so maybe at our next in-person meeting they will be involved, but Kate was able to get the word out there, and there are 2 students that were very interested in joining us. And then the last one that Anne has is an update on a co-meeting with the Climate Action Committee. I don't have any information on that. I don't know if anyone else does.
No.
Okay, can leave that. And then let's circle back to the minutes because a couple people have joined us since then. The January and February minutes, has everyone had a chance to look at those ones that Lauren sent out? And do we have any edits we'd like to make, or do those look good to everybody?
I suggested changing, he quoted me as saying a lot of bots, and it should have been a lot of lots. And I emailed him, but I don't know if he got the email. So,
Okay. I know that he wasn't here because he's at some conference or something, so I'm not sure how accessible he is to respond to all that stuff
search for
immediately.
the word bot and change it to lot.
Okay. That seems like a simple change. Does anyone have any other changes they'd like to suggest? I don't either. So do we want to accept our January and February minutes? Show of hands, people that want to accept it?
I'll move to accept them.
Everyone?
I need to move and
Oh
then
yeah, we have to move, yes, before we vote. Okay,
I'll move,
thank you,
I'll
Jen.
move to accept.
I second.
Okay, so Jen and then Nancy seconds. Okay, now we can vote. Now we can discuss. Now we can discuss. We're discussing. It's good. Okay, everyone vote. Everyone vote. All right, so that passes. Looks like unanimous. All right, that's all we have on our agenda since we are moving the Trillium Woods to a separate meeting. Is there anything else anyone wants to comment? Spring, go for it.
I want to talk about the butterfly thing.
Oh, butterflies. I even wrote it down.
Sorry.
No, I love it. Perfect. Butterflies.
So I am going to send this in today, and I'm just letting everyone know I'm doing it, even if it's just me. But we were asked to sign on to the Mayor's Monarch Pledge survey, and we have to commit to doing 3 things. Within the year, one would include provide some educational information. There's a whole list of different things to do to help try to put some education out to the community about pollinators. So I'm going to sign off on it. And I just wanted to put it out there and ask if this committee would maybe want to participate in helping come up with any language or anything like that. So we can put that on the agenda maybe for next time if you guys are willing. So I guess my question was, would you all be willing to talk about it at a future meeting?
Yeah, I talked about it. Now, what if we're doing education, under what circumstances are we doing the education?
So there's a huge list of things that they're asking. It can be anything, like putting some information about pollinators and the butterflies in the newsletter qualifies as one of the activities. I was honestly, depending on how timing goes, I was thinking maybe depending on how the Dryden Dairy Day activity goes, I could try to have things there, passing out seeds. They also talk about doing some plantings that are monarch habitat that have been lost over time. There might be opportunities along the rail trail or something there's a long list. So I'll share with everybody. Let you take
any basswood that they plant. Did you plant basswood at Bob Beck's thing?
No.
I
didn't.
Don't think so. Okay, because I was thinking, well, actually, some of those trees count as pollinator trees, probably. Basswood would definitely count as a pollinator tree. But
doing a seed giveaway is another opportunity. I know that there are places you can get seeds, so that's something. There may be opportunities to do some giveaways or things like that. So there's a bunch of things. They're not necessarily huge lifts. That's why I said I would sign it even if I just need to do it. But I think it'd be a great thing to maybe collaborate with you guys on.
Yeah, and I think we could support the Native Plant Society for coming and doing something too, because most of their plants are pollinator plants. So
awesome. So I'm going to send this in. And then I'll share it with everybody, and so you can get inspired.
Okay.
Is the town willing? Is the town willing to commit to restoring habitat and planting? It's one thing to give seed out at a fair, but it's it's big. It's a lot more to to commit to actually restoring some habitat and putting in, more pollinator friendly habitat, whether it's grassland or forbs or trees. So
I know.
there's, so I think
So,
this is a
so
good first
here's,
step. It'd be good if the town,
I, I think it's a thing of like, I want to sign it, I want to get it moving. And then, if we want to put a resolution together and say, hey, we want support for this, or we want funding to make this happen, or, where would it be appropriate? This would be a good group to say where that is. So it'd be great to have you guys engaged on that. I don't think that town's opposing it, but I haven't put a proposal through asking for X amount of money in X location.
so are you signing the pledges, Spring, or are you signing the
Yes,
pledge
I
on behalf of the
am.
town?
Yes,
So
I am.
it's just a resident
So,
signing a pledge. Okay.
no, I'm signing it on behalf of the town.
Okay. So you are committing the town to restore habitat and do the right thing.
Well, I'm not checking off which things we're doing. I'm just saying we're committing. So I'm not committing to funds or anything like that, but
Well,
I would like
I,
to, John.
I mean,
So,
I wasn't aware of this until just now, so I looked it up and it said by taking the pledge, you are committing to both restore habitats in your community and encourage your residents to do the same. So that's a
mhm,
big lift, and I think
I
it's
know.
great that you're doing it. But if you sign the pledge, I'm going to hold you to doing that. So then we're going to have to figure out how to get the town to do it.
I'm all for that. It would be great to have
Okay.
some help. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I'll help. And I got resources to help. I got money to help. I mean,
Awesome. Okay.
not me
Let's do it.
personally. I can reach out to friends in places.
I got friends
Look
in
at you,
low
Gene.
places.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. All right.
Okay,
So
so
let's
you'll
put
send
that
that
on the
info
agenda
out
for
for
a
next
future
time,
meeting.
and
Okay.
you'll send the info to us.
Yeah.
So we can look through it. Okay, perfect.
Can I make a motion? We adjourn?
That's 7:44. Sure.
Well, if
So I
we've
think the
covered
important
the
thing is to make sure, like, this is a short meeting because we put our main topic onto a separate meeting, and I'll coordinate with Anne and make sure that we do set a date so that we can get that. And do we know what the deadline is? Right, we have to make our
Um,
comments available for the planning board, and do we know what date that is?
yeah, the planning board. Let me see here when planning board meets. You said the 13th.
It was the 14th.
It's
wasn't
not.
it? It was the
It's not the
Tuesday.
one for the. Not the one for this Thursday.
This isn't
You
the
mean-
ZAG meeting. This is the planning board meeting, right? So this is, I think it's the 14th, because I think she said we needed a schedule before then, which is why the 13th, I think, is the.
Several days before. Is the planning board meeting on a Tuesday? I thought they met Thursdays.
It'd be the 23rd.
Okay. So it's a
Okay,
week
so
before.
they would need to have the info by the 20th or 21st, something like that. So they can send it out and all the planning board members get a chance to read what we have
Yeah.
said.
Probably the sooner the better. The last minute things are the things that don't get read as thoroughly, probably. So
They're amazing how they do stuff. At the last meeting, they had changed that thing in the morning. And I think there was only one planning board meeting person who was not able to look at it at all. The others felt they didn't have enough time. But anyway, yeah. Our ZAG meeting is the 2nd. So we will be meeting this Thursday for the zoning advisory group.
okay, so we'll make sure we get that settled. I'll email Anne and make sure that we get a date and send that out to everyone. And then we'll go from there.
We haven't decided
So-
on a date for the next meeting then, have we?
Well,
13th,
because
right?
it got, we were going to choose between the 9th and the 13th, but it turns out both of those are problematic. So we might need to have some other choices. Are there any dates that are really problematic for you?
I know for myself, I can't do the 9th. I can do the 13th though.
And are there other dates that you can't do before the 20th?
The 13th is probably going to be better than, well, the 9th I think is a no-go, but the 13th maybe. We'll have to look at the calendar.
That's a Monday.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, actually, I can do the 13th.
yeah, I think the 13th is going to be a thing of like skipping other things, other volunteer groups, but that's just the way the
Yeah,
cookie
this is
sometimes
important.
crumbles.
The 9th is EMC, so I can't come to that. I can't come if it's on that 9th.
Okay, so it'll go out on the email for choosing the dates, but they may come up with other things that are good. I'm good pretty much any time so far.
I'm pretty flexible as well. So I'll email Anne right after this and just see if there's another date that she can throw out there besides the 9th and the 13th.
Okay. Can you come to the 13th?
Yes, I am able to come on the 13th.
Yay.
I'm available on the 13th too, if it matters.
Okay. Okay, well, that's 4 of us that are here at least, so. Okay, so Nancy would like to propose adjourning the meeting. Anyone else wanna, Ken, Steve, everybody wants to adjourn. Okay, so vote to adjourn. We all wanna vote to adjourn?
Yeah.
That sounds great. And we will meet again, and I need to stop the recording, and our official meeting ending is right now. We're ending. Now we are